Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer not coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city. Instead, we're here on Radio Row. SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, and we are thrilled to be here for all 4 days. The action started this morning. You heard off the bench from right here on Radio Row. Matt Moscona will follow me on AFR, and we'll be here through Thursday when LSU takes its turn in front of the collected media here. We're brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, as well as Reb Fiber. Back in the studio, Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali on the ones and twos. On Mondays, we are, of course, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions, and we have got a ton to get to over the next 2 hours. Fired up to be here. Chase Daniel, of course, was a Missouri quarterback with the New Orleans Saints as well. 14 years in the NFL. He will join us coming up in about 40 minutes, talk some SEC football, maybe some memories from his time in New Orleans as well. So excited to do that. Today at the podium, we have already heard from the head coach of the Missouri Tigers, Eli Drinkwitz. Earlier on in the day, things got started. I can't even remember at this point who started the show, the festivities earlier today. But we've got Tennessee coming later today. Also, Kentucky just took their turn at the podium. I'm older than Will Stein, which is a little bit weird that I'm older than a SEC head football coach. But I got him by a few months. He's a 1989 kiddo. I was born in 88. But it's not a day full of headliners today. Those will come a little bit later. But the energy is obviously palpable. Everybody's buzzing around. And it's the unofficial start of football here in the Southeast. And we are fired up to be here with you. Let's get things started, as we do every day, with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
So Greg Sankey was the first at the podium today, and it's the general state of the union in the Southeastern Conference. And I took away a couple of talking points from Greg Sankey today. Maybe overreacting a little bit on my part, but I admit that readily. But I was curious at his answer about the Southeastern Conference championship game, because 10 years ago, I would have never in a million years suggested the SEC would do away with that game. And I don't think they're especially close to getting rid of it right now. The estimations by ESPN earlier this year that the SEC makes about $60 to $80 million on that game. I don't think they're in a hurry to leave that on the table. However, the college football playoff drives this sport. It drives the discussion, it drives the revenues, and it's the important issue. And the SEC certainly wants to get as many teams as possible into that playoff. And while at one point, Southeastern Conference Championship game could be looked at as an opportunity to win the nation's toughest conference, it's also, at the same time, an opportunity to lose another game. Now, last year, Alabama got smoked in the SEC Championship game. Georgia just dog-walked them. And it didn't hurt them. They were 9th in the CFP rankings going into that game. They were 9th in the final rankings when it was over, and they took that road trip to Oklahoma and won that playoff game. So it didn't hurt last year, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be taken into account at a later date. And that's something that the SEC coaches are just not willing to deal with. And Commissioner Sankey was asked about the conference championship game, and he gave kind of a snarky's too strong a word. He gave a little bit of a soft open, and then got a little bit more deeper into it, because I have to go back and figure out how many years we've done it on our own when conference championship games were initiated. The majority that didn't flip in our direction, probably over the course of a decade. I think even more, the move to 12 teams in the college football playoff has created pressure around championship games. We've talked through the factors that support the pro list. We've talked about some of the con list, the negatives that need to be considered, and we have some time. We will have a conference championship game the first Saturday in December of 2026. We have contracts and plans in place well beyond that, but we have time for consideration. One of the factors for us is what will happen with the college football playoff. Right now, the SEC, you have a 9-game conference schedule that everyone will play starting this year. Then you've got a mandated Power 4 game outside the conference. So that's 10 that you have to play. And if you get into the Southeastern Conference Championship game, that's 11 P5 games you've got to play. It used to be 8 if you didn't make the conference championship game. Now you're going to 11. So that's something that's going to make a path to the college football playoff more difficult. And these coaches are not happy about it. Eli Drinkwitz was one of the first guys to talk today, and he talked about the coaches already, without having buckled one chin strap, the coaches already regret going to 9 conference games because you guarantee the league 9 more losses. And so it's an interesting discussion of, do we keep playing this game? Because what are we weighing most significantly? Is it the, call it $80 million that the SEC makes on that game, or is it the potential to lose another game and fall out of the playoff? Now, again, that hasn't happened. It happened, in bygone era, not in the college football playoff era. It did not happen to Alabama last year, but we know LSU knocked Tennessee out of a national title game back in 2001. We have seen that in the past, and if you've got additional revenue from 9 league games, if you've got additional revenue from an expanded college football playoff, if you've got those media rights dollars that are swelling to the point that you can offset a massive chunk of change that you get in December every year from that Southeastern Conference Championship game, well, is it worth playing? And I personally, as I look at this, I wouldn't be just downtrodden if that game went away. Yes, I have awesome memories of the Southeastern Conference Championship game. I was in the student section when Jonathan Zenon picked off Eric Ainge on that wild day in 2007 when Les Miles said, "Have a great day." I was in Atlanta for that. It was awesome. I was there in 2011 when Tyron ran the punt back and then almost ran the second one back and just sent a buzz through the entire place, and LSU just whitewashed Georgia in the second half of the game. I have some great memories of SEC Championship games and certainly enjoy watching it over the years, but with the expanded playoff, if you just fill that weekend with playoff games instead of the SEC championship game, I'm okay with the trade-off. Again, that's just not something I thought I would say 10 years ago. But things change, and the landscape of collegiate athletics has changed more in the last decade than at any point in history, with conference realignment and the expansion of the playoff and all kinds of different things with NIL and with the transfer portal and with the 5-for-5. There are so many things that have changed. If this is the next thing to change, which Greg Sankey is very clearly leaving the door open here, I'm okay with it. I realize that's a wild thing to say, to take away one of the great games on the calendar. Proud traditions in LSU and Georgia and Texas and Alabama and Tennessee, and it's a great event, but so's the playoff on campuses for a national championship. That's the most important thing, and Greg Sankey absolutely left the door open for that. The other thing that caught my eye, it was the first question that Greg Sankey was asked today when he was meeting with the media in the big ballroom. He went through his opening monologue, talked about a lot of different things, State of the Union, whole deal, and then the first question is, how real are the conversations within the SEC about potentially breaking away from the college structure as we know it? In any way, is that being used as leverage in the conversations you're having with Congress about the bill, talking about the Cruz-Cromwell bill? And Greg Sankey said, so you phrased the question of how real, so I'll take that as real or not real. So they're real. People have talked about that. I am not capable right now of thinking that through and what that scenario would look like in the grand scheme if the Southeastern Conference just picked up its ball and went home. That would be really weird. And the ripple effect from that would just be seismic, because you're talking about massive financial damage to schools that depend on the SEC to cut them those checks in September to play those, rent-a-win games. And now that would go away if the SEC is just doing its own thing. And then, what happens of the Big Ten? What happens of the ACC? What happens of the Big 12? I'm just not capable of fleshing that all the way out and having that internal conversation of what that result would look like. My gut tells me I don't like it. I'm not a huge proponent of change in a lot of instances, and that massive a change, I think, scares me to an extent. And it doesn't sound like, at this point, there's a significant leverage play here. I don't think the SEC and the Big Ten are in a hurry to just pack up and leave. However, if they start to get strong-armed into doing things that they don't want to do, they do have the bargaining power with the brands and with the revenues that they create to do their own thing. And I just don't know what happens with the ACC or the Big 12 in that instance. I don't know what happens with the Group of 5 schools in that instance. And I don't know if it's just a football thing or if this is something that, you know, goes through the entirety of sport. That is too big a string for me to untangle. I can't get there. I can talk SEC championship game. If that goes away, like I can have that internal discussion. The SEC just napalming collegiate athletics, not something I'm really going to spend a lot of time on today. If I've got to have that discussion at a different point, I guess we can get into that. But as of today, I can't get into that. But it was fascinating to me that was the first question that was asked. Another humorous thing that Chris Marler pointed out to me when we were in the ballroom earlier today is there were 2 questions about SEC officiating that were asked, both by members of the Auburn beat. So apparently people on the Plains not super stoked with the Zebras in SEC country at this point. They were mad about the Georgia game. Apparently, an official got fired after the Georgia game. And then there was that play last year with Oklahoma where they ran the player, quote unquote, off the field, and he stopped right there on the field of play, talking to the coach like he was off the field. And then it was a misdirection deal, which is very clearly in the rules that you can't do it. And the SEC official didn't make the call. So those in Auburn have not taken the summer to forget about the missed calls that happened last fall. They just waited all summer to ask Greg Sankey about those calls in the ballroom right out of the chute. So I got a little bit of a kick out of that. We're off and running here. That's our opening drive here from Radio Row at SEC Media Days in Tampa, Florida. When we come back, let's take a look at our first team. We're going to start with the teams that LSU actually plays this year. One of those is the Tennessee Volunteers. Josh Heupel has not yet made his run up at the podium. We'll hear from him a little bit later on. I want to talk about the Vols. LSU's headed to Knoxville. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTros Outdoor Power. GoTros Outdoor Power. It is grass growing season. It is grass cutting season. And if you need a new zero-turn mower, there's no better place to go than GoTros Outdoor Power. 22 years in business for the GoTro family. 2 locations. Got the one in Gonzales as well as the one on Airline in Baton Rouge. National Hustler Deal of the Year 2 of the last 3 years. GoTros Outdoor Power. So if you're looking for a new zero-turn mower to manage that property, you need to contact my guys at GoTros Outdoor Power. Locally owned and operated. They deliver parts. They've got trailers, and they can deliver the equipment if you need that to happen as well. Great parts inventory over there at GoTros Outdoor Power. Check them out online at GoTrosOnline.com. That's GoTros Outdoor Power.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at ReliefWindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
extra reps.
And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Back here on Radio Row. SEC Media Days 2026, day one. We are fired up to be here. I want to remind you of my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at fabrychevrolet.com. That's fabrychevrolet.com. Got some awesome deals going on in the month of July. GMC is offering employee pricing on the 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali's. Now until August 3rd, you can get up to $8,000 off of select Denali's. And Chevy is offering 0% APR financing for 5 years on the 2026 Silverado 1500s, plus no monthly payments for 90 days now until August 3rd. Get by and see them. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You can check out the entire inventory online at fabrychevrolet.com. That's fabrychevrolet.com. I was just talking in the Bayou Ford chat a little bit earlier in the commercial break. We got into Tampa yesterday. I'm digging the vibes of Tampa. I like the river walk. It's working. I like the logistics of this hotel. We got some good dinner last night. It's been good. This is trumping Atlanta in just about every way. Last year in Atlanta, I liked the setup in the College Football Hall of Fame. I didn't really like anything else. So this has been good. It's going to be a great week, and we're excited to be coming to you. Thanks to our friends at FML Health, Our Lady of the Lake. Thanks to Parrish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, as well as Rev Fiber. Let's talk about the Tennessee Vols, shall we? This is not a team that LSU has played a lot. LSU has not been to Knoxville since 2017. Remember that game? It was a torrential rain there in Knoxville at Orgeron's first full season as the head coach. LSU won that game. That was LSU's last trip to Knoxville. That'll change coming up this fall. LSU will be there November 21st, so probably pretty chilly game for LSU to play in against Tennessee. And Tennessee makes the playoffs 2 years ago. They go up to Columbus and just get destroyed by Ohio State, but it was a really good season, and it seemed like Josh Heupel was really setting things up. They had a great year with Hendon Hooker, and then he gets hurt in South Carolina, and that thing kind of unraveled on him a little bit. But that team was really good. They came into Tiger Stadium and just wore LSU out. And then, they had to find their new quarterback, and then they get behind Nico, and they make the playoff, and it felt like things were really moving in the right direction. And now you fast forward a year later, and you had the Nico Iamaleava fallout, and he ends up going across the country. And then you look at Tennessee, and they take a step back last year. They were an 8-5 football team, went 4-4 in the league. Some of the losses were ugly. Alabama got after them 37-20. Of course, the pick six right before the half was a huge play in that game. They lose a game to Oklahoma in Knoxville where they let Oklahoma score 33 points. That Oklahoma offense was not good, and Tennessee allowed them to score 33 points. And then you lose to Vanderbilt in just really humiliating fashion in Knoxville. Checkerboard end zones. They come up from Nashville and just wear Tennessee out 45-24 behind Diego Pavia and company. So you look at that, and that's a step back. And a lot of it was on the defense. They allowed Georgia to score 44 points. They allowed Mississippi State to score 34 points. Arkansas hung 31 on them. Alabama 37. Kentucky 34. I mean, Kentucky 34 points. Like, they won the game, but you can't let Kentucky score that many points. And Vanderbilt hung 45 on them. So they make a move in the offseason to go get Jim Knowles. Jim Knowles comes from Ohio State, then to Penn State, now comes down to Tennessee, and he's got to handle them from a defensive perspective. They've got to be a lot better, and they're going to do it without many returning starters. I think there are only 3. Of course, LSU has got Jordan Ross, who was not a starter for them, but did play a lot for them on the edge. They got to play better defense than they did last year, for sure. I kind of give a benefit of the doubt to Josh Heupel on the offensive side of things. I just feel like he's such a good quarterback coach. They play with that tempo. They generally run the ball really well. And I think they're going to score points, even though we don't know who their quarterback is going to be. You've got 2 options in McIntyre, the redshirt freshman, who was a 5-star. And you got Faison Brandon, who was also a 5-star. But these guys don't have really any experience. I think McIntyre threw like 9 passes last year. And then Faison Brandon is a freshman coming in. I have not spoken with anybody on the Tennessee beat, and Josh Heupel has not gone yet on the stage, so I don't know where they are in that process as far as naming a starter. It didn't sound like the spring separated either of the 2 when I was doing my prep for this week, but they got to figure out who the quarterback is, and whoever it is, they're going to be giving the ball to Deshaun Bishop. He was awesome last year, 2nd team All-SEC, ran for 1,000 yards. He's going to be the bell cow, and that's the thing, like, because when you think about the best Josh Heupel teams, you think about Hendon Hooker throwing it all over the place, but the team that actually made the playoff a couple of years ago was built on its defense and then absolutely running the football. That's what they've got to do, and that's what they're going to try to do with Deshaun Bishop. They use the tempo as a way to like wear teams down, but it's the running game that gets after people, and that's what they're going to try to do. It is it's a difficult schedule for Tennessee. There's no 2 ways about that. I don't know what Georgia Tech's going to have post Haynes King, but that's where they are in week 2. But then you start to get into the thick of the SEC play. They've got Texas coming to Neyland Stadium. Then they got Auburn coming. Then they're at Arkansas. Then they come back and they play Alabama at home. In Knoxville this year, Tennessee will play Texas, Auburn, Alabama, Kentucky, and LSU. It's a loaded home slate for the Vols, and they're going to have to take care of their business at home. They should be okay on the road. At Arkansas, should not be too difficult. At South Carolina, I know Lenore Sellers is back, but I don't have a lot of confidence in South Carolina, and I think things might be spiraling out of control for them this year. So those 2 are manageable. Then you got at A&M, which is certainly a very difficult game. But the last road game is at Vanderbilt, where you're going to have more fans in the stadium than Vanderbilt will. Now, Vanderbilt just destroyed Tennessee last year, but Pavia's gone. They're probably starting a freshman quarterback. Tennessee's going to have a lot of people in that stadium. So I think that 3 of their 4 league road games are very, very manageable. And then you've got the trip to Kyle Field, which is going to be very difficult. It's at home where Tennessee's going to have to handle their business against some really good teams. I think Texas is going to be really good. Bama's going to be really good. LSU potentially could be very good. So for Tennessee, it's a difficult home slate. I'm not buying this Josh Heupel thing right now. I think that may be recency bias because they weren't very good last year, but I really liked the trajectory of where things were going for Tennessee. I felt like they finally had an identity for the first time probably since Phil Fulmer. Like, what was their identity under Butch Jones? What was their identity under Derek Dooley? They just weren't very good. They never beat Georgia. They never beat Bama. They never beat Florida. Like, it just, they couldn't, they were just they were kind of irrelevant for 10 years. And then Heupel shows up. They install this high-flying offense. They score a lot of points. They break through with Hendon Hooker, who was having a Heisman-caliber season. They make the playoff. And then it just kind of buckled last year. And maybe Jim Knowles is the elixir to fix that. Maybe he's the guy that comes in and changes the course of this whole thing. But I'm not ready to buy that. I don't put Tennessee in a class with Texas, in a class with Georgia, in a class even with Alabama, even Ole Miss and A&M. I think all those teams are better than Tennessee at this point. I'll just have to be proven wrong. They've got 3 starters back on the offensive line. They got a couple of really highly rated wide receivers that are back. Mike Matthews is a former 5-star. He had 800 yards last year. Brandon Staley was SEC Freshman of the Year last year at wide receiver. So they've got some playmakers out there. Who's going to get on the ball? It remains to be seen. And this is a game, as we bring it back like full circle to talk about LSU, this is one of those games. This is potentially LSU's most difficult road game. I would probably put Ole Miss in that category first and then Tennessee next. But it's going to be a big one, and LSU's going to have to win some games on the road this year. Like, they're going to have to go on the road and take care of business, because I don't think LSU is going to have a perfect a perfect home record this year. I don't think LSU is going to beat Clemson and A&M and Bama and Texas. I don't think they're going to win all 4 of those games, which means you're going to have to take care of your business away from home. Neyland is a tough place to play. It's probably going to be pretty chilly in that Tennessee air in late November, but it's a game that if LSU wants to achieve this year, if LSU wants to be a playoff team, this is probably a game you're going to have to win on the road to give yourself a mulligan at home, because there's just some really, really difficult teams coming to Tiger Stadium this year. So that's a look at the Tennessee Vols. We'll hear from Josh Heupel a little bit later. Curious to see kind of what he has to say. Heupel's not generally one of the chattiest coaches out there. We had Eli Drinkwitz earlier today, who didn't give any real bulletin board material. I heard Will Stein talk a little bit earlier. I think he was a little bit nervous. He was reading a prepared statement earlier today. Drinkwitz tried to read his, and he said he couldn't read his chicken scratch, so he had to ditch his notes and just shoot from the hip. But that was fine. He's a pretty personable guy. Heupel's generally not the most energetic, most chatty guy, but we'll see what he has to say. I know that he's wearing some Air Force Ones today. That's already been revealed on Twitter. We'll have to see where old Bill Martin is walking around here. Of course, Bill was an SID at LSU for many years and now is the head SID at Tennessee, so he'll be walking Josh Heupel around. Hopefully we can run them down here on Radio Row. We're brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, also Parish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, and Rev Fiber. They'll bring you our coverage all week long here from Radio Row in Tampa, Florida. Chase Daniels is going to be with us in about 15 minutes, so don't go anywhere. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com. Look, it's a Baton Rouge-based company that cares about the community that it serves, and that's the way they think about it at Lifetime Roofing. They know that oftentimes when roofers are called in, there's a significant situation. There's been a weather event. There's been some sort of unexpected damage. So they realize they're serving the community in helping with roofs. If you need an inspection, Lifetime Roofing can do it. If you need a tune-up to get ready for hurricane season, Lifetime Roofing can do it. If you need a new roof, Lifetime Roofing can do that as well, and they'll do it with a lifetime workmanship guarantee. That comes with the warranty on the workmanship as well as the materials that are backed by CertainTeed, one of the oldest and most trusted names in materials. It's Lifetime Roofing. Check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Another roof gone too soon. Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation. At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today. Case closed.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by Parish Construction and Roofing, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, and Rev Fiber.
Love telling my friends at First American Bank and Trust. They're online at FABT.com, FABT.com. Started up in 1910. 116 years later, they are still chugging along, grown to 25 locations around Southeast Louisiana. So there's always one near you, whether you're in St. Tammany or Tangipahoa Parish up by 12, maybe down the bayou, St. James, St. John, Lafourche Parish, or Terrebonne. There's one right there. If you're in Metairie, they got one there as well. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. The decisions made at First American Bank and Trust are made locally. You're not dealing with a call center in Chicago. You're not dealing with a call center in San Francisco. You're dealing with people in Southeast Louisiana. So if you've got a commercial loan that you're looking for, First American Bank and Trust. Need a personal loan? First American Bank and Trust. They're online at FABT.com. All right, we're going to be joined by Chase Daniel here coming up in a little bit. I got a few things that I wanted to talk to Chase about. Of course, he was Big 12 Player of the Year at Missouri. Enjoyed an incredible career as an undrafted rookie who played for 14 seasons in the National Football League, was a member of the 2009 Saints Super Bowl team, and didn't play in the SEC, but now his school is in the SEC, and I'm just curious how that how that makes you feel as an alum, that things are so much different than when you played. But I want to get Chase's thoughts on a lot of those things. We'll talk about him here in a few minutes. I want to briefly touch on Kentucky here because they also went today. Will Stein was up on the podium just before I went on the air and was telling some interesting stories. He grew up in Lexington. His father played for Kentucky. His mother attended Kentucky, and he was actually in high school and rushed the field when LSU lost to Kentucky in 2007. I was there that day. I did not rush the field. I rushed out of there and drove to Memphis. But he was in that number that day. Has been a Kentucky fan his entire life, and now is leading that program at just 36 years of age. He comes over from Oregon, and they've got to revitalize Kentucky's offense, which has just been putrid for a number of years now. Mark Stoops did a pretty good job in Lexington. I would go as far as to say that Mark Stoops did a great job in Lexington. However, I think it got a little bit stale. I think it had run its course, and when he got on that plane to fly to College Station to become the Texas A&M coach, that was the end of the line, and then it just got worse last year. They were just not very good. Got crushed by South Carolina, crushed by Georgia. Came up short against Texas, got annihilated by Tennessee 56-34, 45-17 against Vanderbilt. It was just an untenable situation there in Kentucky. They needed a change of pace, and they've really gone the other way. You had an old blue-collar defensive guy from Ohio, and you come with this young, energetic, offensive-minded head coach. It's a complete 180 in Lexington at this point, and LSU will go to Lexington on October the 10th this year to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. And the offensive coordinator for Kentucky, Joe Sloan, is there. I think Will Stein's going to handle the offense. I think a lot of you probably rolled your eyes when I said that and go, well, that was terrible. Why would you even hire him? Well, Will Stein's going to run the offense. He ran the offense at Oregon. He's going to run this offense. Joe Sloan just there as kind of a lieutenant in that way. The familiar names that you'll know for Kentucky. Lance Hurd is going to be their left tackle. He spent a year at LSU, a couple years at Tennessee as a starter. Now he'll move on to his third SEC school at Kentucky. Speaking of third SEC schools, Nick Anderson, wide receiver who started at Oklahoma, then to LSU, now is at Kentucky. So those two guys will be on the field. You'll recognize them. Quarterback's going to be Kenny Minchey, which is very interesting. He comes over from Notre Dame. Let's put a pin in that, and we'll welcome in our first guest of the week here on Radio Row. Chase Daniel, good enough to give us a little bit of time. Chase, thanks for that. How are you?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Can we turn him up a little bit, Rivers? No, doing great. So I want to talk to you about a lot of different things here. We're on in Baton Rouge in South Louisiana. She's going to pot you up there. There we are. We're on in South Louisiana. Obviously, you spent some time there.
Yes, a lot of time.
An undrafted free agent who ends up 14 years in the NFL.
I'm glad you got that number right. 14. A lot of people say 13.
How do you do that?
Well, you gotta have a little bit of luck. Got to have the right coaching staff. Got to have the right people teaching you. And I think ultimately, like when it comes to pure backup quarterback play, I've always said two things. One, you got to play well when your opportunity gets, because that is the number one reason why you continue to play. And number two is you got to be a good teammate, man. You got to be able to be the starter's ear, and you got to be able to be like. You can't be a distraction as a backup quarterback. And there's so many things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't understand that I sort of was able to get and bring to different teams, and ultimately at the end of my career sort of help younger guys out.
Take me behind the curtain in the meeting room with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. So what's that like?
I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it's literally like two maestros up at the whiteboard, just like, hey, you like this? Oh, no, I like that. And it's like, Sean Payton, and stories galore. He'll spend. I mean, I'm not kidding you, right? Like, he loves burning the midnight oil. Like, he loves sitting in there. That's when he does his best stuff. But I've seen and heard stories where a goal line package, which every team maybe has 2 goal line package plays in every game plan. And by the way, a game plan's 200 plus plays. So like, I don't really worry about. He'll spend 2 or 3 hours on one play just getting it right. And we won't run that play for 8 weeks, but when we do, he's like, yeah. So it's just like the level of detail like that is unmatched.
Chase Daniels, our guest here. We're on Radio Row here at SEC Football Media Day. So catch us up on what you're doing now. A little bit of change of scenery. I think SEC Nation, is that right?
Yeah, so joined SEC Nation this year. Last year was the first year with ESPN. I was calling college football games and doing a bunch of NFL Live and NFL analyst stuff. So just ended up signing a multi-year extension and adding SEC Nation to the job title. So we're going to be on campus. Roman Harper, Matt Berry, and I are new. Obviously, Tebow the legend, Paul Feinbaum, Marty Miggy, all these guys. So to me, it's really cool because when I retired in 22, I spent all my time in NFL world. Like, all my analysis has ever been at NFL world. And then last year sort of got the itch of like, hey, calling college football games live. And then this opportunity came up, and it's just such a good opportunity to jump after with SEC Nation.
So you were obviously the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah. Missouri moves over to the SEC a few years after you leave. What is your reaction to that? Like, obviously they're ingrained in the SEC now, but you were a Big 12 player, and now it's a different world for Missouri than when you played. What's that like?
I think that our chancellors and our AD at the time, Mike Alden, had such a foresight on what was coming down the road. And I'm so glad that we joined when we joined because, one, obviously like the exposure, but two, knowing where everything was going, to be able to get into the conference is awesome, to be completely honest with you. And the first 2 years, what do? We go to the SEC championship games. Now, I ended up getting smoked, but like, it don't matter. Like, you get this new program coming in.
Winning the East is no joke.
And so when we did that back to the years, I'm like, okay, we sort of, and there were some down years, right? But you look at the last couple of years with Missouri, we've probably overachieved a little bit in a good way. And that has everything to do with Coach Drink and everything that he has set in stone. Just saw him today, and it's great to see him. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see this year with Missouri, with Austin Simmons coming over, how that whole thing handles, and with Ahmad Hardy as well.
Because Mizzou under Eli Drinkwitz is a 9-10 win team just about every year. What's the next? How do they get over the hump to the next thing?
Look, my thing is like it all comes down in the SEC. Obviously, like, you get to play good defense, but the quarterback play. You got to have solid quarterback play, and I think with Brady Cook, we actually had really solid quarterback play. Since Brady is left, that's the one thing. Last year, up and down. Bo Pribula got hurt a little bit. Austin Simmons, how does he handle coming into a new offense? I mean, just the quarterback play, figuring out that defensive line, which has always been a strength really since I been there for Missouri, is top of the list. So yeah, it's just look, 9-10 win. If you would have told in the SEC like before I even played like at Missouri, people would be excited. Yeah. People would be pumped. I mean, look, you look at a couple years ago in the Cotton Bowl, we beat Ohio State. I don't care if they weren't playing anywhere or not. That to us at Missouri is huge. And so obviously you have some work to do to get back to that level, but it's just such a difficult conference. I mean, you're playing an extra conference game this year. Half the teams are guaranteed an extra conference loss. And so that probably hurts a lot of people's chances in CFP. Yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
I got to ask you about the local team before we get out of here. Yeah. LSU, Lane Kiffin comes over from Ole Miss. I know that you've spent some time looking at what Lane does offensively. Tiger fans are excited about it. What are your expectations for LSU in year one with a new head coach?
Well, I mean, look, there's so much fanfare about Lane coming over and all this stuff. At the end of the day, the dude is an extremely smart offensive mind. I'm not worried about the offense. The defense under Blake Baker. Blake was in Missouri and finished top 10 in defense. I mean, he's a great defensive mind too. Lane does what he does best. He goes out and he spends a lot of money in the portal, gets a lot of portal guys, and he's always able to have those guys gel really fast. My thing about LSU this year is twofold. The schedule. You open up Clemson. I'm not sure who week 2, but then you got Ole Miss and you got A&M. In the month of September. And so those 3 powerhouses, I mean, you can't be 2-2. Like, if you're 3-1, I think in that stretch, it's a very good stretch. And the thing, too, is like, spent a lot of money on Sam Leavitt. Hurt last year, missed 5 games, but you go back to 2024, that's probably what they paid him on, because I thought he was a really good quarterback then. How quickly does he pick up Lane Kiffin's offense? How quickly does he distribute the ball to the playmakers? Does that offensive line gel? Jordan Seaton, obviously coming over from Colorado. All these teams, man, there's a lot of question marks, but Lane's always had good offenses, so I'm not too worried about that.
It's a crazy schedule, but it's going to be a wild fall in Baton Rouge. Chase, we appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much. That's Chase Daniel, now with SEC Nation. Good enough to give us a little time here on Radio Row here in Tampa at SEC Football Media Days. We are brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction and Roofing, as well as Relief Windows and Rev Fiber. Just kind of grabbing folks as they walk on by. We appreciate Chase for giving us a little bit of time. We talked about Tennessee, talked a little bit about Kentucky as well. Still got to get into our in-depth chart series. That's coming up at 2 o'clock. Top of hour number 2, we'll talk defensive ends. We've gone through the offense, and we started on defense last week with defensive tackle. So we'll talk about LSU's edge rushers. Oklahoma and Missouri are 2 teams that we are going to mention as well in the second hour. So we've got a lot to do, and maybe a guest or 2 will pop by. You never really know. I may grab Blaine Crane or Chris Marler here coming up here in hour number 2 if we have a little bit of time to do that. So let's take a timeout. We'll come back and close out hour number 1 when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Always love telling you, my friends over at Ochsner. Look, it's hot, y'all. It is hot in July. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Heat stroke is a big serious problem, and it can be preventable. You can wear loose, breathable gear, work out in the morning or the evening hours. Try to avoid that peak heat time. Drink water and low-sugar electrolyte drinks. Skip alcohol. It dehydrates you really quickly. Use sunscreen and sunglasses. That's not just for the UVs. Also keeping your cooler, keeping your body temperature down, and know your limits. This is maybe the most important thing. Know when to back off. Know when to stop. If you feel off, just slow things down. That's all from our friends over at Ochsner. If you feel dehydrated and need medical attention, find your nearest Ochsner urgent care at ochsner.org/UC.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
River Parish Contractors is hiring pipe welders, tackers, and cutters right now. Full-time positions in our state-of-the-art fabrication shop. These are immediate openings. Apply now at RP.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Tampa, SEC Football Media Days 2026 will be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. LSU, generally speaking, leads things off, but they're not this year. LSU and Texas are closing things down on Thursday, so a little bit of a different flow to our week. I'll be honest, I kind of liked LSU going right up at the top. That allows me to just get all the content I need and space it out over the days. Now, we don't have any LSU content to write about or talk about until Thursday, so it's a little bit different, but I think this is a strategic move by the SEC. Last year in Atlanta, we were there, and on Thursday, by the time the last groups were coming through, and Missouri was part of that because Eli Drinkwitz made a comment, there's just nobody left. Because like if you cover, just hypothetically, you cover Tennessee or you cover Texas A&M, and they go Monday or Tuesday, like are you sticking around for Thursday? Like maybe not. So by that point, you've already run through 12 teams, and you might not have a lot of folks hanging around. But with Lane Kiffin and LSU, there's almost assuredly going to be a lot of folks here, and Texas is going to be the biggest celebrity group of the lot. Arch Manning will be here. Steve Sarkisian will be here. Colin Simmons will be here. You're talking about guys who are potentially going to be first-round picks, so that's going to be quite a circus. So we'll build towards that, but we are here for the entirety of the week in Tampa. I want to remind you about Guarantee Health Solutions. They're online at guaranteehealth.com, guaranteehealth.com. Rachel Fricke and her team just do awesome work. Rachel comes from a hospitality background. She was in hotels and noticed when she was going through a healthcare journey with her mother who was diagnosed with cancer, how impersonal, how uncomfortable the entire situation was. And she wanted to change that. So she's set out to do that with Guarantee Health Solutions. And they do incredible work. They're able to help you out with your digital marketing. They're able to help you out with your website. How many clicks to care? How accessible is your medical practice online? If you don't spend a lot of time thinking about that, well, what's the issue? And if you're looking at the opportunity to train a staff to help guide a patient's experience in the practice, they can do that at Guarantee Health Solutions. Check them out online at guaranteehealth.com. That's guaranteehealth.com. All right, we're going to talk about LSU defensive end play coming up at the start of hour number 2. We also got to touch on some of the other teams that are here. Oklahoma started things off. Brent Venables was here a little bit earlier, and we also heard from Eli Drinkwitz a little bit earlier. So still plenty of stuff to do here on this Monday. I missed Will Stein. What did I miss, Chris Marler?
First off, I don't love this angle. Not much. It was like a valedictorian speech.
Yeah, he was like emotional, I think, or was he nervous, or like what was the vibe on that? I mean, it's his first time. He's younger than me. He's 36 years old. Like it was probably something that he wasn't all fired up to do. It just felt a little.
36. That makes me question my own life choices. Yeah, I texted you. I was like, is he crying right now? But also, I will say this, to be fair, because it's easy to make the joke. It was a very unpolished start to like the. Yeah,
he was reading, and like there's just not a lot of. He was not relaxed.
First 2 minutes were about his wife being good at pickleball.
Yeah, that was the first thing up was pickleball, which you never know what you're going to get down here.
I looked it up. She's not even ranked. So, no. So he got into I will tell you this. I'm a big advocate and like fan of anyone that either it's like their alma mater or in his case, like same with Coach O, like the program he grew up cheering for.
Right.
Like he mentioned, I hate to bring it up, but he was on the field for the field rush when they beat LSU in 07.
I was in the LSU student section. I did not rush the field.
Fair.
I drove back to Memphis.
But he had I think when you come up around a program like that and it means a little bit more to you, like we see it with Kirby Smart, we saw it with Coach O. I don't think he's going to win a national title like that. But
no.
I will say that he seemed a lot more confident as it went on, and that was good. He also said some stuff about Joe Sloan that I was surprised by.
Like?
All positive stuff.
Okay, well, I figured he probably would. He probably wouldn't go, I hired this guy as an offensive coordinator. He sucks. That's probably not going to be it. That's probably not going to be it. Look, this is a big zag by Mitch Barnhart in Kentucky. They had the mature, older, blue-collar Ohio guy in Mark Stoops, and they go get the young, hotshot offensive dude here. Do you have any confidence that's going to work?
I think they're the most mysterious team in the league this year, only because they brought I assumed that their resources would be kind of nothing.
Right.
Like they spent $22 million in basketball last year. I don't think they were going to spend a ton in football. And out of the gates, they go get a top 10 portal class. They brought in 29 kids. Like 20 of them were former Power 4 players, 13 from the SEC. I mean, they got some former 5-stars. They got a good class. I don't know if that's going to matter. Also, their offensive line, which is usually where games are won and lost.
Lance Hurd's going to be the left tackle, which I didn't hear a ton of great things out of Knoxville regarding his play for a couple of years. But obviously, he's a big talent. They bring Nick Anderson over from LSU to potentially play some wide receiver. He's been hurt for 2 years, basically. But LSU plays Kentucky, and I was talking about this earlier. Like that's a game that LSU obviously has to win. Like there are some road games that LSU just has to go take care of. Yeah. You can't lose at Arkansas. You can't go lose to Kentucky. You really shouldn't go lose to Auburn.
Right.
Like you have to go because you got everybody's coming to Tiger Stadium. But this is one of those games that you got to take care of, and I feel pretty good about it. I guess Kentucky's probably just going to have to prove themselves to me.
If you told me they were going to go 7-5, because again, he mentioned they have 43 players with at least one career start.
Okay.
If you like rankings and stars, there's some players on that roster that are really impressive. Like if you signed Nick Anderson 2 years ago, like LSU did, we're probably thinking it's a much better and
It's going to be a bumpy start for the Wildcats. They play Youngstown State in the first one, and then they got Alabama coming to Lexington, and then they go to Kyle Field. That's not a great way to open the season.
But I mean, I think 3-9. I think is what I put them in, like our preseason breakdown and countdown to kickoff at LouisianaSports.net. And I think that's probably more accurate because again, it's hard to win right away. He's a first-year head coach, and the schedule is pretty brutal.
It's just when you're Kentucky, this is something I was talking about with Arkansas last year. Your schedule's always going to be hard if you're Arkansas or Kentucky because you don't get to play yourself.
Right.
Like, we get to play Kentucky. Well, you don't get that game.
You'd find a way to lose still. So
it's like that always becomes hard. I'm looking at games that they could potentially win. Like, can they go to South Carolina and win?
Don't do this to me right now. I mean, they can. I think the away team usually. I don't know.
Can they beat Vanderbilt in Lexington?
That's going to be the worst.
I don't know
game.
anything about Vanderbilt because Diego Pavi doesn't play for them anymore. So that's all that. Well, they got the 5-star freshman quarterback.
And
that's all I know.
Not big shoes to fill, but probably size 8.5 shoes to fill.
And then like Florida, sure, I don't know what they are.
Again, like. You brought in that's the beauty of the NIL. We thought Indiana was going to suck forever.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to be Indiana. And I certainly hope he doesn't turn into Kurt Signetti because that is going to be insufferable for everybody.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think again, the cool part was watching him kind of, it's like you hear him talk about like living his dream and being
Right.
able to coach that program. And
Although he went to Louisville, which is a little bit counterintuitive.
Learned that roughly 7 minutes ago as I was writing my write-up about it. So
we'll get back to writing. I'll finish the hour here. We appreciate a little bit of time. Chris Marlowe, you can read him up there at louisianasports.net. All our content up there all week long is for free. All our coverage all week long is brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, and Reb Fiber. They'll have us here all week long. We certainly do appreciate that. That's fast-moving hour number one here. That's remarkable how fast that goes when you get here and things are happening as quickly as they are. But we covered a lot in that first hour. Started the show talking about Greg Sankey's kind of thoughts on the state of the SEC and college football as a whole. We talked about the Southeastern Conference Championship game. We also talked about the college football playoff and the SEC potentially just breaking off, which was the first question Greg Sankey was asked that I thought was really, really fascinating to hear his answer there. So you can read Chris's reaction to that as well as listen to me on demand. You search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, review, and we always appreciate y'all for doing that. In the second segment, we talked a little bit about the Tennessee Vols, who LSU will play in Knoxville for the first time since 2017 later on this fall. And then Chase Daniel was good enough to give us a little bit of time. Talked a little bit about sharing a room with Drew Brees and Sean Payton in the game planning world, and then got into some football talk as well. I enjoyed our conversation with Chase. I think he's going to do a great job on SEC Nation. He was really sharp in terms of his knowledge. He was rattling off LSU players left and right. Seems like he's a guy that's really prepared. I don't think you can make it for a decade and a half as a backup quarterback in the NFL if you aren't really prepared, and it seemed like Chase was. So appreciate him for giving us a little bit of time. You can catch that on demand wherever you find your sound. We got plenty to do in hour number two. We're going to talk about LSU's defensive end play. We're going to talk about the Oklahoma Sooners. We're going to talk about the Missouri Tigers. We've got some take it or leave it coming your way as well. So just lock us in for the next 2 hours. Matt will be in this chair from 3 to 6.
The Hunt Palmer Show. Palmer Show.
All right, that's the end of the hour, I guess. To tell you about Boudreaux's Electrical Services, online at boudreauxelectrical.com. That's boudreauxelectrical.com. Look, Neil and Melissa have been running the show for 30 years at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. They know how to serve the people of South Louisiana, and they know how to get you into that Generac home standby generator. So don't think about the generator when the storm blows through and you're in a hot, dark house. That's not the time to think about a generator. The time to think about a generator is now. Get the local team to install that Generac home standby generator so that when your power does go off inevitably, when we've got these storms that blow through, you will be powered up by the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Again, they're online at boudreauxelectrical.com, boudreauxelectrical.com. Got 2 phone numbers, got you covered in Gonzales as well as over in Donaldsonville, 985-397-1562. That's Boudreaux's Electrical Services.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business Services. Call or click today.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Nick DeLuca. New era coming at Michigan. Athletic Director Ward Manuel will step down at the end of the calendar year. School releasing a summary of an investigation into the culture of the athletic department, concluding the issues were not, quote, widespread. Manuel has been the Wolverines' AD for over a decade, winning numerous national championships, including in football and men's basketball, but also weathering multiple NCAA and legal investigations. In the NBA, the Lakers are signing free agent forward Matisse Thybulle to a one-year, $3.3 million deal. Two-time all-defensive team member shot 42% from three over the last two seasons, appearing in 45 total games, entering his 8th year in the NBA. WNBA wing star Paige Beckers ruled out of tonight's game against the Liberty after a scary collision during last night's win over the Sparks. Team said she does not have a concussion and is not currently in the league's concussion protocol.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Monday edition of Hunt Palmer Show brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions from Radio Row in Tampa. SEC Media Days 2026. We're going to talk some LSU football here to start hour number 2. Spend some time talking about Kentucky as well as Tennessee in the previous hour. We'll do a little bit on Oklahoma and Missouri later on, although LSU does not play those two teams, but they are the ones who are taking their turn on the microphones in front of the cameras earlier today. Josh Heupel had some interesting things to say about Lane Kiffin's re-return to Knoxville. We'll get to in our next segment. But let's talk LSU football. We're going position by position on the team. Started this last week. Have gone through the offense, started the defensive tackle on Friday. So let's go to defensive end. And I'll say this time last year, I was really, really, really bullish on LSU's edge play. I just had seen what Kevin Peoples did with Savion Jones and Braden Swinson the year previous, and I saw Patrick Payton coming in and Jack Pyburn coming in and Jamari Butler coming in, and I saw Gabriel Relaford growing up a year older, and I just thought, that guy's a great coach. He's got some talent coming in. They're going to be really, really good on the edges. And they weren't bad on the edges. They just weren't good. They were just okay. And you look back, and Gabriel Relaford got hurt. Patrick Payton had 1 sack and didn't get drafted. Jabari Butler had 2 sacks. Jack Pyburn had 2 sacks. LSU was 12th in the SEC in sacks per game. They were 13th in the SEC in tackles for loss per game. Blake Baker has made a career out of creating havoc, out of trying to create negative plays and trying to blow things up in opposing backfields. And LSU just did not play in opposing backfields last year. They were a sound defense. They were a solid defense. Marcel Reed got after him. Diego Pavia got after him. But they didn't make a lot of plays in the backfield, and their edge play just simply wasn't very good. Like, they were okay against the run. Peyton and Pyburn combined for 86 tackles, but they did not have a sort of Marcus Hill, Marquise Spears type impact, a Sam Montgomery, Kiki Mingo type impact. I thought LSU was going to be really good on the edges, and they just weren't last year. So what does it look like this year? Well, Gabe Relaford got hurt last year, came back, and got hurt in the spring. Feel awful for Relaford, but he is likely to miss this entire season. Then you've got some other guys coming back. Dylan Carpenter's back. Kalaj Cobbins is back. Damian Shanklin's back. Those are depth pieces. But you went out and got 2 high-level SEC transfers in Prince William Mielen from Ole Miss and Jordan Ross from Tennessee. You also got Jalen Brown from South Carolina. He did not play last year due to an injury. And then you got a couple of young pups in Lamar Brown, 5-star, all-everything, National Player of the Year, and Trenton Henderson, who was a 4-star recruit from the Florida Panhandle. So you got a new cast of characters, and the hope is that you've got a better cast of characters. I think the floor on Prince William Mielen is really, really high. I think he's going to be a productive player for LSU. I think he will be a pick for all SEC at this event, which doesn't mean anything. It's just talking season here. But he's going to be a guy that will threaten 8 to 10 sacks for LSU this season. I feel pretty confident about that. There is a thought inside the program that Jordan Ross is going to be a dude. My approach on Jordan Ross, and I said this a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about this, and I'll say it again when we get to fall camp in a couple of weeks. My approach on Jordan Ross is this. He is not Mr. 5-star. He is a guy that has never started a game, has 5.5 tackles for loss and a sack and a half in 2 years of football. A sack and a half in 2 years. So I'm taking Jordan Ross as the player that did not produce a ton at Tennessee, not the 5-star prospect that everybody wanted out of high school and that the NFL draft is looking at. You're looking at a guy who is on some way too early mock drafts for next spring. I mean, he looks the part. He's 6'5", he's 245. Like, he's about the same size as Prince William Mielen. We saw him out there in spring football. He looks the part, but he hasn't really done it. So that's what I'm waiting on from him. Uman Mielen's done it. Ross, not as much. I looked at Pro Football Focus grades, and they like Ross. 77 overall, 72.7 against the run, 81.1 as a pass rusher. It's interesting to me that Jordan Ross has a pass rushing grade of 81.1, yet only has a sack and a half in his 2-year career. Those two things don't seem to go together. And I know that not everybody loves Pro Football Focus, but it's something that I like to bring up. It's a talking point. We're in talking season. So it's a guy that's got a lot of potential. I just have a hard time. Maybe it's just because of the way last year went, where I was so wrong on LSU's edge guys, that I'm just being cautious and thinking that Ross hasn't really proven much of anything. Because most people, when they talk about Jordan Ross's team, they're going, former 5-star, he's going to be a stud. Huge difference maker on the defense. I just can't quite get there yet. But hopefully I'm dead wrong. And then you got some depth behind those guys that I mentioned: Dylan Carpenter, Damian Shanklin, Kalaj Cobbins, Jalen Brown, who started at Missouri and then went to South Carolina and has come over with Sterling Lucas. He's huge, 6'6", 270. And then the question becomes, beyond those guys, how much does Lamar Brown help? And I just don't know the answer to that. He wasn't enrolled in the spring. He was at some of the practices, but he wasn't certainly participating. He wasn't enrolled in school yet. He was still at U-High, not an early enrollee. So, how much does Lamar Brown help? And again, this is another one where you're going to hear a lot of people go, oh my God, 5-star, #1 player in the nation. He's going to be a stud. Well, playing on the defensive line as a freshman in the SEC is not easy. So I'm curious how much you're going to see from Richard Anderson on the interior and Lamar Brown on the edge. He's got the size, but it's a matter of the strength and the technical development that he goes through. I think at the edges, you're going to see Umanmielen play a ton. You're going to see Ross play a ton. I think you're then beyond those two guys going to see a little bit of depth. I think Dylan Carpenter plays a little bit, and I think Lamar Brown plays a little bit. How much just remains to be seen. LSU needs to impact the quarterback more than they did last year. Again, they were pretty solid as a defense, but they didn't rush the passer well. They didn't create negative plays well. They didn't blow up drives well. They were just kind of steady. They need to be more impactful, and I'm confident that Umanmielen is going to have more sacks than anybody LSU had on the edge last year. Perkins led the team in sacks, but nobody else on the edges really made a huge impact. Umanmielen's going to. If Ross develops into what he could be, then you've got two problems, one on both ends if you're an opposing offense, and that's how you can close games. That's how you can win games. Because I think LSU's going to cover pretty well in the secondary, but if you can get pressure off the edge with your down lineman, it changes everything, and it can win you games late. And LSU just didn't do that really well last year. I think they can this year. I'm recalling the Clemson game last year where they sent Perkins on that blitz to finish it on the fourth down where Klubnik kind of had to almost throw it away. You need more plays like that, and you've got some guys that can do it, and Umanmielen and potentially Ross, and then whatever depth develops behind them, I'm curious to see. So that's a look at LSU at the defensive end spot. As I mentioned on Friday with defensive tackle, I've got some questions. I won't go as far as say concerns. I've got some questions about LSU on the defensive line. The talent appears to be there, but the production needs to follow. And so we'll just have to see how LSU manages from that perspective. We're here on Radio Row in Tampa. We're presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. We're presented by Parish Construction and Roofing, as well as Relief Windows and Rev Fiber. My Monday shows are brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. We'll take a time out. Come back with more. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show. Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com. Chevy's offering bonus cash on select new vehicles to firefighters, police officers, 911 dispatchers, and EMT paramedics. They've got inventory to fit any budget, offering that bonus cash as well. And as I mentioned back in hour number one, Chevy's offering 0% APR financing for 5 years on the 2026 Silverado 1500s, plus no monthly payments for 90 days if you get by there before August 3rd. 3 months with no payment is a nice way to drive off the lot in a brand new ride. Check out the inventory. It's all there at FabryChevrolet.com. You can search by new vehicles. You can search by pre-owned vehicles. You can search by mileage, price, make, and model. Whatever your specifications are, they've got you covered over there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville, or stop online at FabryChevrolet.com.
My name is Mike Krumholt, and I've been with First American Bank for 4 years. What makes First American Bank special is we're able to offer all the products and services that any other big bank can offer. What sets us apart is being able to give that small town feel that someone can pick up the phone and they can talk to someone or stop by the branch and get excellent customer service.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at ReliefWindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish contractors, let's get building.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by Parish Construction and Roofing. FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. Relief Windows. And Rev Fiber.
OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. If you see a small crack in your bathtub or in your shower, don't just leave it. That's the mistake that David Duvall sees all the time. And then you let water damage get places you really don't want it, and it gets really expensive. If you see an imperfection in your bathtub, in your shower, don't just let it rest. Call David Duvall, One Bath and Closets. Let them come in. The last thing you want is for water to get into the walls, into the floors, into the ceilings of the lower stories. And then you've got a significant repair that's got to be done based on what looked like a minor inconvenience. So if you see something like that, make that call to David. When we met with him a couple weeks ago, he said that's the mistake that people make so often is they just don't take it seriously when there's a small crack somewhere in the bathtub or shower. So make sure you do that and call David at One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com. All right, not the most technically savvy move we're about to pull here as Rivers films me try to do this, but Josh Heupel was asked a question today in the television room about LSU's visit to Knoxville, Lane Kiffin coming back. And obviously, when Lane Kiffin went back to Knoxville as the head coach at Ole Miss, things got crazy. They're throwing mustard bottles, they're throwing golf balls, they're all over the place. And the question was asked, like, do you think that your fan base has cooled off to Lane Kiffin because he's obviously going to get it pretty bad in Oxford? And Josh Heupel gave what I thought was a pretty funny answer to the Lane Kiffin question. Here's Josh Heupel.
Certainly hope our fan base hasn't cooled off. So, whether it's the grocery stores being fully stocked with mustard, or our sports stores making sure that they got reinforcements on the golf balls. Hopefully, Knoxville's ready for his arrival.
Classic stuff there. Tongue firmly planted in cheek there for Josh Heupel, who's got to make sure they're stocked up with the mustard bottles. That's going to be a fascinating game for LSU. It's the most difficult road game outside of Oxford on the schedule. And I just don't know what to make of Tennessee with a quarterback controversy and a remade defense with a new coordinator. We talked about it in hour number one. They're going to be an interesting test case. They took a step back last year. What is LSU going to get into when they get up there in November? LSU's first trip to Knoxville since 2017 when LSU takes on the Vols coming up in November. I also went through a little bit of an interesting exercise yesterday in preparation for this. I want to be very clear to y'all. We understand what this week is. It's an opportunity for us to talk some football. It's an opportunity for us to see some people we haven't seen since maybe last year at this time. It's an opportunity for us to have some great guests. Chase Daniel was on a little bit earlier. I know Matt's got a full show locked in later on today. But as far as like prognostications, projections, we don't know. And I'm not here to tell you that we do. Like, anybody can say anything. I don't think anybody saw Vanderbilt coming a couple of years ago. I think you can be relatively safe in suggesting that Georgia's going to be pretty damn good. I think it'd be reasonable to suggest Texas got a pretty talented squad. But we don't know. But I took the opportunity yesterday for LouisianaSports.net to give some projections on what I think the media will think about LSU come Thursday. We'll get the results of the preseason All-SEC reaction. And again, that's not worth the paper it's printed on. Obviously, it's just a bunch of opinions down here in July. But I think that it will give an indication as to what people think about Lane Kiffin's first team in Baton Rouge and give us a basis. So I project that LSU is going to be picked somewhere in the neighborhood of 5th. That's what I wrote for LouisianaSports.net. Texas and Georgia are going to be the two darlings here. Bama always has a pretty strong contingent. I think that the people think a lot of them. I feel like a lot of people are pretty high on Texas A&M. That seems to be a pretty trendy pick because Elko's running that defense and their quarterback is back. They do have to replace the entire offensive line, so there are some question marks there with Texas A&M, but I think people do like Texas A&M. And then LSU's like kind of in a group that's in there lumped in. You got Tennessee, you got Ole Miss, you got LSU, got Oklahoma. That's kind of that middle group that's behind Texas and Georgia, probably Alabama, maybe Texas A&M. So I'll say that LSU's picked 5th. Wouldn't surprise me if they were 6th. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if they were 3rd. But I would probably put them closer to 4th, which is right there on the playoff bubble. But I made picks for the All-SEC teams. They named 3 teams. And I've got 3 guys that I think will be first-team preseason All-SEC picks by the media. Whit Weeks is pretty obvious selection. Jordan Seaton, I think, is a pretty obvious selection. There is a great tackle over there at Texas, too, but I think Seaton will be a first-team pick. And I have to imagine that Trey Green will be a first-team pick. He's going to be here, which helps. You got a guy that comes. That is a name that will jump off the sheet when you're voting, and he's just a freak of nature. So I think that those are my 3 that I think will be first-team picks. I've got 4 guys that I think that will make the second team. Ty Benefield, who I would vote first team. I think he's going to be a star for LSU this year, and we've talked about that a lot. DJ Pickett, who had a nice freshman season last year, was a famous recruit, so I think he'll get some name recognition. I've got him in there. I've got TJ Daugherty, who led the SEC in sacks. I think I've got him as a second-team pick, as well as Prince William Miellen. I've got him as a second-team pick as well. So Benefield, Pickett, Daugherty, and Uman Miellen. Incidentally, all those guys on the defensive side of the football I've got as potential second-teamers. And then on the third team, I've got Sam Leavitt, quarterback. I think he'll be behind Arch Manning and Trinidad Chambliss. I think he's next on that list. There are some other good quarterbacks, obviously, in the Southeastern Conference. I think that Auburn's quarterback is going to get some love there, but I think Leavitt will probably trump him. So I think I've got Leavitt as the third-team pick. And Braylon Moore just had a nice year last year when he was healthy, and I think is a veteran, a returning starter, and that's a guy that I think some people will give some votes to. So that's my projection here for the LSU guys. Whit Weeks, Jordan Seaton, Trey Green on the first team. 2 of those guys will be here at SC Media Days, Whit Weeks and Trey Green. Ty Benefield, DJ Pickett, TJ Daugherty, Prince William Miellen on the second team, Sam Leavitt and Braylon Moore on the third team. Maybe I missed a player here or there, but that's just kind of my thought on this. I'm curious. This is kind of our first day. Everybody's getting their bearings. Some people arrived today. Some people are setting up today. There's a lot of logistical issues going on today that people. But as the week progresses, we'll have a lot more conversations with people. And I'm just I'm curious what people think about LSU. What is evidenced is that LSU is going to wear the black hat because you got Lane Kiffin. Nobody thinks he should have left Ole Miss in a playoff run. People generally don't love Lane Kiffin in the national media. So I think LSU is going to wear the black hat here, but that's not the more important thing. The more important thing is, are they any good? And I think there's a real chance that LSU does have a really good team, but it's going to be one of those deals you got to come out running because you're going to start with Clemson and Ole Miss and Texas A&M in the first 4 weeks of the season, which is quite a heavy lift for Lane Kiffin in year 1 in Baton Rouge. Moving right along here, brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction, Roofing, Relief Windows, and Reb Fiverr. Our Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions as well. Let's step aside. We got 40 minutes or so to go here from Radio Row on this Monday. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Love telling you about my friends over at Marucci. It's really hot outside right now, and it rains just about every afternoon. So it can be difficult to get some swings in if you don't have a place to go. And if you're a member at Marucci, you will have a place to go. You have key card access 24/7 to their batting cages. So if you've got a youth baseball player, youth softball player under your roof that has trouble either beating the heat or the rain to try to get those swings in, well, go to the indoor cage at Marucci. Awesome spot to work on your game. Such a gem in Baton Rouge. Really, you can take a tour. Learn where the official bat of Major League Baseball is made. They make 1,200 of them every single day. Ship those out to the best players in the world. You can learn their story and take a tour of the facility over there at Marucci. The website's maruccisports.com. That's maruccisports.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps.
And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Tampa, Florida, SEC Media Days 2026, official kickoff of football season. Greg Sankey addressed the ballroom early this morning. He was followed by Brent Venables from Oklahoma, Eli Drinkwitz from Missouri, then Will Stein from Kentucky, wrapping things up with Josh Heupel and Tennessee here on this Monday. LSU's day will be on Thursday. Generally speaking, LSU leads things off, but they wanted to kind of keep some meat on the bone late in the week, so to say. So they're going to put Steve Sarkisian, Arch Manning, and Lane Kiffin on Thursday, and that will probably keep some people around, if we're being honest. We'll certainly be here for all of it, thanks to our friends at FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction and Roofing, as well as Relief Windows and Rev Fiber. Now, the two teams that have not discussed at all today are two teams that LSU does not play. Of course, the last two seasons, LSU has finished with Oklahoma, the home team, winning both of those games in both very ugly fashion. But LSU will not play Oklahoma this year. LSU will not play Missouri this year. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Oklahoma. I did not realize until someone asked Brent Venables this in the ballroom. He's the oldest coach in the SEC. 55 years old, which is not old at all. But for years you've had some guys that are a little bit older. Of course, Saban coached all the way until he was 70. But it's a young crowd in the Southeastern Conference. Every coach 55 or younger. Brent Venables saved his job last year. That's my opinion. I mean, you look at that program and the level of success they enjoyed in the Bob Stoops era and the Lincoln Riley era, both in the Big 12, there was an expectation that you were going to maintain that, and it's just very difficult to do in the Southeastern Conference. They were just wrecking people in the Big 12 for decades. Like they were just dominating that league. There just wasn't anybody that could stand up to Oklahoma, especially considering that Texas kind of lost its way there for a good bit after Mac Brown stepped down. So it was just child's play for Oklahoma for a long time, and then you come over to the SEC and you've got a new coach, and it can be difficult. And they were atrocious on offense 2 years ago, just absolutely awful. And they tried to fix that with Arbuckle coming over from Washington State and John Mateer, and it certainly looked like they had it fixed early on. I mean, they came out and played really well against Michigan, beat them by 2 scores, a 24-13 game. They routed Temple, and then they beat Auburn, crushed Kent State, scored 44 points, and that's the point where John Mateer gets hurts his hand, and misses some time. He came back too quickly. You remember the scene where he's got blood all over his pants because it's ripped open, and he just did not play well the rest of the season after coming back from that injury. They scored 6 points against Texas. They did not play well offensively or defensively against Ole Miss in a loss. Then they found it. And they found it late in the season, beating Tennessee and Alabama on the road. And that's the point, I think, where Brent Venables saved his job. Because if they lose those 2 games and maybe lose to LSU at the end, like, he's going to be out of a gig. But instead, they finished 10-2 and make the college football playoff. And they got a lead on Alabama last year and couldn't hold it. Just absolutely buckled on their home field in the college football playoff. Now, this team is going to be led by John Mateer again. And I'll be honest, like, I don't know what to make of John Mateer. Like, it's as far as the returning players go, the guy that I just have the worst feel on. Like, Trinidad Chambliss has to deal with a new offensive coordinator, but I still think he's going to play really good football as a returning starting quarterback. Mateer, it was good early, but was that because they were playing not so great teams? I don't know. But he's got Isaiah Satania back on the outside, got a couple of offensive linemen back, and they're gonna run it back with John Mateer. Defensively, I trust Brent Venables. I think he is really, really good. I've told this story a lot of times. From sitting in my seat in the Superdome in the January 2020, the 2019 championship team, when he was the coordinator for Clemson, what he was able to do in the first quarter of that game to Joe Burrow and to the LSU offensive line was noticeably different than any game LSU played that season. They had LSU confused a little bit. The field position played a big role in that, obviously. LSU was pinned in the shadow of their own goalposts a couple times early in that game. But the disguised blitzes were just incredible from Brent Venables' defense. And he's brought that now to Oklahoma, and they're really good on D. They were fantastic last year. They lose our Mason Thomas. He was a second-round pick. Taylor Wine, who is here today, was really good. He is back. He had 7 sacks and 15 TFLs last year, so he'll come back. Their top 2 tacklers for a year ago are back in Kip Lewis and Owen Heineke. So this is once again going to be a really good defensive team with Brent Venables calling the shots and with some key returners back off that unit. The question with Oklahoma is, what do they get from Mateer in this offense? Is it the pre-injury Mateer? Is it the post-injury Mateer? Can they throw the ball around a little bit? That remains to be seen, and I think it's fascinating. You look at Oklahoma's schedule. 3 of their first 5 games are away from Norman against powerful brands. They start with UTEP, which I don't care about that, but then they're at Michigan in the next game. Then they got New Mexico, and then at Georgia, Texas in the Cotton Bowl. So at Michigan, at Georgia, and Texas in the Cotton Bowl are 3 of their first 5 games. That is a ridiculous gauntlet away from home early in the season that they're going to have to wade through. If they can do that, like LSU, they get a bit of a reprieve in the middle because you got Kentucky coming to Norman, you're at Mississippi State, and you've got South Carolina coming to Norman, and you're at Florida. I don't think any of those teams have super high expectations at this point. So that's because LSU, y'all know, you start with the craziness that's Clemson right out of the gate, and then you got Ole Miss in week 3 and A&M in week 4. But then you hit that lull where you're going to play Auburn, you're going to play Mississippi State, you're going to play Kentucky, you're going to play some teams you can beat before you ramp back up with Bama and Texas and Tennessee late. This is the same thing with Oklahoma because they get that stretch of Kentucky, Mississippi State, South Carolina, and Florida before they finish with Ole Miss and Texas A&M and then Missouri. But Ole Miss and A&M are both coming to Norman. For the second year in a row, Ole Miss going to Norman, and they'll rekindle that old conference rivalry with Texas A&M in late November. This is a schedule that I don't think Oklahoma is going to navigate unless they really step things up offensively. And if they really step things up offensively, I think they're a potential threat, not to win the league, but to be an outside chance at a college football playoff team. But I just don't see it. I think they're going to lose at Georgia. I think they're going to lose to Texas. I think they're going to lose to Ole Miss, and they may lose to Texas A&M. It looks like a four-loss team to me. Which would be a bit of a step back from last year's college football playoff run by the Oklahoma Sooners. As far as Missouri goes, we were talking to Chase Daniel earlier in the show, and he is saying basically it kind of all hinges on the quarterback play there. And you got Austin Simmons, who just did not play very well last year in those 2 quick starts before Trinidad Chambliss won the job for Lane Kiffin in Oxford. He turned the ball over too much, had 4 interceptions in the first 2 games. He's a great athlete. He's really bright. He's got kind of the skill set that you're looking for, but it didn't translate early. So we'll see if they can find something at Missouri. They're always a little bit better than I want to give them credit for. I mean, that's just the way Missouri has generally played. They lost some close games last year. Missouri did. They started 5-0, but then they lost to Bama by 3, lost at Auburn in a 6-point game, lost to Vanderbilt by 7. A&M trounced them, but they lost a really low-scoring, ugly game against Oklahoma. But they were in games. Eli Drinkwitz has Missouri as a pretty feisty little team. They're not a threat to be a conference champion. They're not a threat to win a national championship, but they're a threat on Saturdays. They're a threat on Saturdays. And last year, they just found themselves on the wrong end of close games too often. And that's the difference between having a 9-3 season or a 7-5 season. And that's kind of what you had. I haven't spent a lot of time on Missouri, candidly, because LSU doesn't play them, and I find Missouri to be kind of boring. But the interesting note that I saw in one of the preview pieces I was reading about Missouri is that they don't have a single returning defensive starter. That's really hard to do, to not have a single starter on the defense back. They've got a lot coming back on offense, 4 offensive starters on the offensive line. The other offseason storyline around Missouri, unfortunately, was the shooting of Ahmad Hardy. He was at a country concert and somehow ended up getting shot. I don't know all the details to that, but it was in his upper leg. Eli Drinkwitz updated his status today, said that today was kind of the first day of real recovery for him. He's expected to make a full recovery, but they're just not speculating on football for Hardy right now. They think it's going to be a full recovery, so that would suggest to me that he's got a good chance to play football at some point. I just don't know if that's week 1 for Missouri. I don't know if that's week 8 for Missouri. I don't know if that's next year. I don't have a lot of experience with gunshot recoveries in football players. So that's where Ahmad Hardy is. The great news is that he is okay. Great news is that he's expected to make a full recovery, but he's a big piece to what they do offensively. He's a great tailback. And without him, it changes the fabric of what they do on offense and probably puts some more pressure on Austin Simmons, which at this point we don't really know exactly what it is that Austin Simmons is. So Missouri, schedule-wise, will open with Arkansas Pine Bluff. They're at Kansas in their Power 5 game. Then they've got Troy and at Mississippi State. So a soft beginning to Missouri's schedule, but it really cranks up once you get to October. They got Florida, Texas A&M, at Ole Miss, at Arkansas, Texas, at Georgia, then Kentucky and Oklahoma. They've got a stretch of games from October the 10th to November the 14th, so a month and a week, where they've got Texas A&M, at Ole Miss, at Arkansas, Texas, and Georgia. That's just too much for Missouri to navigate here. That schedule to me screams a team that's going to be fighting at that 6-6 mark. That's probably me once again disrespecting and underestimating Missouri, which I probably do every July and probably will do every July moving forward until they just absolutely prove me wrong. But I don't trust them against that schedule. Drinkwitz is a good coach, but it's a completely overhauled defense. It's an unproven quarterback, and it's a schedule in the month of October that is an absolute nightmare. So I'm not buying a lot of Missouri stock this fall, but hey, that's in great supply. So just a thought on the Missouri Tigers as we continue to chug along here from SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. We're brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, and Rev Fiber. We'll step aside, come back, one segment left to go. It's a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Major season is over. Open Championship in the rearview mirror from yesterday, but that doesn't mean golf season's over. Great time to get by Swing Easy and work on your game. They got great technology in there that allows you to see the flight of your ball, that allows you to see your swing speed, see your ball speed, see your spin, see your carry distance. You can also see the slow-mo impact of your golf ball and your golf club, so you can see where you're making contact with the ball. It's incredibly useful for scratch players. It's incredibly useful for beginners. So if you're looking for a place in a controlled environment, out of the heat, out of the rain, to work on your game, Swing Easy Golf Club is a great place to do it. They're on Segan at Perkins. You can find them online at swingeasygcbr.com, swingeasygcbr.com.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic butter spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Another roof gone too soon. Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation. At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today. Case closed.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit SpineCenterLA.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Our Monday show is always brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Rachel Fricke and her team just done an amazing job growing Guarantee Health Solutions. 12 states, more than 24 partnerships at this point. They've managed over 1 million patients in the last year. And for those in the healthcare world, you know how important that Net Promoter Score is. They raised one from a 65 to a 90 in just 3 months. They are difference makers at Guarantee Health Solutions. They're operational experts. They've got a full assessment of a patient journey through your medical practice. What does your brand look like online? That's a question that they'll often ask. How many clicks to care? Do you take care of your website? Do you deal with digital advertising? What's the experience like for patients through your practice? If it's not something you've considered, check in with Guarantee Health Solutions. You can find them at GuaranteeHealth.com. They're online at GuaranteeHealth.com. It's Guarantee Health Solutions. They bring you our Monday shows each and every week. I want to squeeze this in while we have a couple of minutes here. It is a local angle to a global story. Sam Burns had a 2-shot lead entering the final day of the Open Championship, wrapped up yesterday from Royal Birkdale. And Sam got off to a great start. He parred 1 and then made a great birdie on 2. And you felt like he had a real chance to get his first major championship. And he just could not get out of neutral after that. 3 consecutive bogeys, played a little bit of volleyball on one of the holes, chipped it over the back of the green, then chipped it back too far. Just did not have what he needed on the second 9. Didn't make a bogey on the second 9, didn't make a birdie either. Just needed to find one, and that course got drier, firmer, faster, and he just didn't quite have the goods. And credit to Ryan Fox. He absolutely ran it down. Cam Young came from way off the pace, which we saw guys do every single day. Burns a 62 back on Friday came in the early wave, which was the easiest wave because the course retained a little bit of moisture and the wind was down in the mornings. And so Cam Young was able to go get a low score, posted. He sat there for 2 hours and let the rest of the guys finish. But for Fox to go out there and to birdie that 18th hole that was giving players fits all week, and for him to pump it down the fairway, to knock it up there to 10 feet or so, and then to make the putt was absolutely amazing. And I thought it was such a great quote from Ryan Fox afterward that he doesn't know how he made the putt. But it was so relatable because you think about the nerves that you think you would have if you were put in that position. And Fox had those, and he jarred that putt. And it's disappointing for Sam, who put himself in position on 2 different occasions this year to get that first major championship. And he just could not get it done yesterday. Shoots a 72 in the final round and finishes with 3rd. As I said after the U.S. Open, like, Sam's game is good enough to win a major championship. It's just a matter of getting it done. It's hard to beat everybody in the field. It's relatively hard to get a top 10, a top 5, but those come in bunches. It's just really difficult to win one. And Sam's got the game. I think he's going to do it. As I said on Friday, the best way to win one is to knock on that door and finally get to the finish line. I thought it was going to be yesterday. I thought he was going to win the golf tournament and just didn't quite get there. So bummer for Shreveport's Sam Burns, LSU Tigers Sam Burns. Not quite enough to get to the finish line and get that first major championship. Winding things down here, just to catch up on tomorrow's schedule. In the morning wave tomorrow, we will hear from Auburn and Georgia. So you'll have new head coach Alex Golish and Auburn coming through. You'll also have Kirby Smart and Georgia. And then the afternoon wave, it'll be South Carolina and Vanderbilt. LSU only plays Auburn of the 4 teams that go tomorrow. So it's actually a deal where we'll have a lot more information of a lot of the teams LSU will play this year in LSU on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. A little bit more juice, I would suggest, to tomorrow's action. I think that Auburn is interesting with a new head coach. They're just trying to get it out of neutral. I was looking at the 5-year running standings in the Southeastern Conference when we were on the plane yesterday, and I was stunned is not the right word because I know that Auburn hasn't been very good and they're firing coaches on like a yearly basis there. But for Auburn to be bunched down there at the bottom of the league over a 5-year run is just something I didn't think that you would see, and you have. They haven't gotten it figured out since Gus Malzahn left. So we'll see if Alex Golis is that guy. LSU, of course, make the trip to Jordan-Hare for an 11 o'clock kickoff in Auburn when that time comes. But LSU will not play Georgia this year, will not play South Carolina this year, will not play Vanderbilt this year. So not a lot of local flavor on that, but certainly looking forward to the day to come as we crank things up on Tuesday. Wednesday's schedule will be Alabama, Florida, Ole Miss, and A&M. LSU plays 3 of those 4. LSU does not play Florida this year, but they do play Alabama, do play Ole Miss, do play Texas A&M. So that'll be a big day. And then, of course, as we mentioned earlier, on Thursday, it's LSU and Arkansas in the morning and Mississippi State and Texas to close things up in the afternoon. Our coverage all week long brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, and Rev Fiber. All right, I got one more order of business to go. Let's play a little Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so entering his 3rd year in the NFL, Atlanta Falcons quarterback Michael Penix is reportedly facing questions about his future with the team. So the Athletics' Josh Kendall painted a bleak outlook for Penix's chances to earn a long-term contract with the Falcons. He said, and I quote, he has 12 starts, 4 wins, and 2 300-yard games and a 59% completion percentage for his career. Fair or not, the decision clock is ticking on his future. Kendall stated so far Penix has done nothing to justify picking up a 5th-year option or long-term deal. So is it already time to start the clock for Michael Penix? Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I mean,
I'll take it.
It's an instant gratification league. You don't see a lot of guys that you wait for 3 years worth of seasoning. I mean, Jaden Daniels took over in Washington. They were in the NFC title game in 5 seconds. Things happen quickly. Bo Nix and his team, I mean, they're right there knocking on the door of the Super Bowl last year before he got hurt in the playoffs. I mean, you had a young quarterback in New England that gets to the things have to happen quickly. And we're kind of looking for that in New Orleans now with Tyler Shuck, and obviously they're looking for that in Atlanta with Michael Penix, and if they don't see it, they're just going to go with Tua.
All right, so Cam Scottaboo went viral this weekend. Not for anything good, unfortunately, but that's kind of typical for Cam Scottaboo at this point. So he went viral Saturday when he attempted to do a backflip as a Fanatics appearance, a WWE style, and he fell. He got up, played it off, but Scottaboo is still recovering from a broken ankle that's sidelining him basically the rest of his rookie year. So is Scottaboo off the rails? Take it or leave it. Or leave it.
I mean, take that. You take that all day long. That guy's an absolute lunatic. I think it's in kind of an endearing way most of the time. But if I'm, with the Giants and I've got a guy that I've invested a draft pick in that's got a hurt ankle that's doing WWE backflips, I'm probably not thrilled about that. If we're being quite honest, I think that's not exactly what they're looking for. There are clauses in people's contracts that say you can't do stuff like that. Obviously, this is not the case for him, but he's a bit of a nut. There's no question about that.
Yeah, he's definitely a nut, and I think Harbaugh definitely hit his phone up, had to have a conversation with him. So you're gonna like this one, Hunt. We'll end this one off with this: a Canadian-based technology company that supply Live Golf Any Shot, Anytime features during its broadcast has sued the league for more than $1 million for outstanding and unpaid invoices and lost revenue. Moby Systems Group filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court in Miami on Friday. So is there any saving Live Golf's PR at this point? Take it or leave it. Or leave it.
Leave it. No doubt about
Leave it alone. Leave it
alone. It's a disaster, and it's going to fold eventually. When you take away the money, you obviously take away the viability of the league, and Saudis back the money out, and that's the only reason that the league exists. So it's gonna go up in smoke, and I'm just fine with that. Let's get everybody back together playing golf. Like Bryson was there for one tournament this weekend, and it goes electric. He needs to be playing with the best players in the world, not in YouTube or on some hit and giggle and live. So that day is coming. I just hope it comes rather quickly. So that's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Monday. Brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. There was one bit of news that I just saw just a few minutes ago, so I wanted to touch on that. Mason Belding was a member of LSU baseball's signing class. He's a catcher from California, and he has switched his commitment to Nevada. This is something that LSU did see coming. It's part of the situation with the roster, the way that they have it. Their numbers are fine. They're not going to be over. I don't think you're going to see cuts at Christmas time. They knew that there were some guys that they were going to look elsewhere with, and Belding was one of those in this signing class. He's a good player. I actually spoke to somebody about him 3 weeks ago, and said, yeah, he's a good player, but we'll see what kind of the future holds. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall there on that. So Mason Belding, high school catcher, will head to Nevada, not to LSU, and that kind of gives you an indication of the situation there. It's not like he's transferring to Tennessee or Arkansas. He's headed to Nevada. So Mason Belding will not be in LSU's class for baseball moving forward. No other super breaking news. Javen Coleman did get promoted to AAA, which I saw. Paul Skeens had a heck of a go yesterday in his return to action, and it was great to see Tommy White back on Friday night get his first major league hit. That's something we talked about yesterday. It was really cool for Jay Johnson to be able to fly out to Sacramento to see Tommy White's debut with Gage jump on the mound, and then Dylan Cruz playing for the other team. Gage was okay, came out of the game after 4 innings, and then the bullpen got absolutely annihilated. I think the A's gave up 23 runs in that game, but Tommy did get a hit late, lined a double into the gap in left center field. So great to see for Tommy Tanks getting off to a great start with his big league career, and hopefully it's a very, very long one. That was a really, really good team that LSU had, and as I mentioned back on Friday, Nick Kurtz, who was hurt for the Wake Forest LSU game that was the Louder Skeens game. He's off to an unbelievable start in his Major League Baseball career, and he and Tommy White will be in the middle of that A's order here moving forward. So good stuff all around from LSU in the professional baseball ranks. You can read all our coverage all week long on LouisianaSports.net. Chris Marlar's writing some updates on the SEC scores. I'm taking the LSU angle on things as well. That's all free. And Ross Jackson's got it all covered on LouisianaSports.net for the New Orleans Saints, who are 8 days away from reporting for camp. So football season is knocking on the door. We're here for SEC Football Media Days, and the Saints are 8 days away from their first training camp practice. So it's finally here. Longer summer than most for us with no baseball on the front end in June, but we are getting there to the end of it, and thrilled to be here in Tampa. It's all courtesy of our friends at FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, and Rev Fiber. Missed any of the show today? Open things up talking about Greg Sankey's initial remarks to the media, talking about the SEC Championship game, what the future holds for that event, if there is one. So I talked a little bit about that, and could the SEC break away? Have they had those talks? Greg Sankey confirmed they have today, so that was something that we touched on top of the show as well. We broke down the Tennessee Vols and the Kentucky Wildcats, two teams that LSU will see this year. Chase Daniel, former Saint, was good enough to give us a little bit of time at the end of hour number 1. Really enjoyed our sit down. He'll be with SEC Nation moving forward, so great to chat with him. Our in-depth series with defensive end today talked about Prince William Monmiel and Jordan Ross, Lamar Brown, and that crew. You can catch that at Hunt on LSU. Broke down Oklahoma and Missouri as well with a little thought on Sam Burns and golf. It's all on demand. Search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, review. Hunt on LSU for your LSU coverage.
The Hunt Palmer Show. The Hunt Palmer Show.
Never quite get that hard out, but there it is. We're about done. Let me remind you one more time about our friends at the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at HighlandIG.com. That's HighlandIG.com. Jonathan Carver and his team are awesome folks to deal with when it comes to the benefits game. We know that people are hurting. Businesses are hurting. It's expensive to deal with health care. We know. But you can look at a second option. Make sure that your employees are covered. Make sure their families are covered with their health care, their dental, their vision. Jonathan Carbo and his team at the Howard Insurance Group are happy to help you with that. Now, they're not a magic bullet, and I can't promise you they're going to save you 12% right off the top, but they can give you another option. If you've had a bad renewal, an unpleasant renewal, or you have one coming up and you want a second set of eyes for your group and employee benefits, contact Jonathan Carbo and his team at the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at HighlandIG.com. They're based out of Baton Rouge, can help you out statewide. It's the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at HighlandIG.